So hi everyone, it's Erkan here with Dave Nyss at Big Collaboration Hertford. Oh, Dave has just finished his Known Be Known session. Every collaborator meeting we have the opportunity for a collaborator to share their best stuff, familiarise the group and the room with who they are, what they're about, a bit of background, but mainly to give a gift, a massive gift. And the metaphor we sometimes use is, imagine you've been asked to go to a great picnic and someone says, bring your best dish. What would you share? What information? How would you show the room and beyond who you are and what makes you different? And today you did that in a spectacular form. Actually, it wasn't spectacular. The impact was, but you were just kind of cool as a cucumber. Weren't out to inspire, impress. I didn't feel any of that going on. I just felt it was you in the room, and you could hear a pin drop. Everyone was just, I don't know. What was your experience of the Known Be Known?
Yeah, it was amazing. I totally enjoyed it, and one of the interesting things was taking seriously bringing your best bits. That's like, and that's where I did the, I've done it twice now, but the first one, the easy thing would be say, just do what you've done last time. But I thought, no, that's disrespectful. You've got to. I shared stuff even that I'd learned on Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, actually yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's really up to the moment, your best stuff, and you don't even know whether you can say it to people. But you're just saying, this is how I do it. You might be a bit weird, but this is how I do it. But do it in a way that, for me, the challenge is to do it in a way that connects with people, so they can reuse what you've just learned. And I think that's a skill I've been working at to truly be in this role as teacher, where I just pass things on. Because I think as we get older, we need to be able to walk into that role of teacher and share. And in fact, everyone can do that. In fact, if you're a learner, you should be a teacher as well.
Well, also, during your talk, there's some very, very basic, fundamental shift type of stuff going on. There's a couple that just stood out for me, and I say things very similar, but I've never said them in that way. And I just went, oh wow. So this thing about, when you've got a really big mission, you're on a big game, right? Collaboration is critical. I mean, we've been saying that for a while. But what you said was, don't try and have it all worked out. And if there's a fog and there's unclarity, I don't think you use that word, but it mists over. And people say, so how are you going to solve that? And you kind of go, well, we don't quite know. And me and Jill have been saying that about being collaboration from day dot. Because everyone wants to know how it's all going to work out. We're like, well, that's why we need you involved, because we don't have all those answers. And there was this idea of the fog clearing. Actually, if you step into the fog, the new bit of fog that's ahead of you is the same amount you could see before, but you've taken 50 metres.
And that's what I would call it. You have to shift your thinking. If I walk forward a few steps, I get a bit more clearer. Yeah. You still can't see the aim, but you might through the fog be able to see where you're going, and you might on a clear day go like that, and the next day it just fogs over again. And it's a different way of thinking and realising that's life. And if you don't have that metaphor in mind, and you're taught you must have A, B, C, D, E, and you don't move till you've got the certainty of that, then you're always going to have a fearful life.
Yeah, so the way I say it, as you've said it, is don't get it perfect, get it started. In other words, take some steps forward.
That's right.
Because the answers will reveal themselves. So that was one of the things that I got from what you said. I loved the metaphor. The other one was about labels, so how we, people put labels on you, or they'll say, Dave's not very good at that, or Erkan's not very good at that, and then suddenly there's this old people going, yeah, he's not good at that, and suddenly you believe it, especially if you've gone through schooling or you've gone through any kind of assessment situation. So say a bit more about how you can use your labels or reinvent your labels.
So you can do it like I did one in a positive way in terms of my wife, through envy, because she always takes a while to get sleep, said, Dave, you're really good at sleeping. I wish I was sleeping like that. And instead of just saying, oh, it's just something, I go, oh, good, because I've worked hard at that, thank you. And that sort of acknowledgement of your own skill without giving it away sits there, and then you can go to sleep. So whatever my day is, and if you're doing big things, you'll have challenging days, you'll have days where they won't go right. But the ability to say, I'm just a fragile person who needs some sleep. I found that actually I can thrive with 5 hours sleep, which is like totally against the norm. But I'm not following the norm. So the norm is just what the majority of people. It's not a scientific fact. It's just that we've managed.
There's a buy-in, isn't there? There's a mass buy-in.
We just take this, and if you realise that we all are sheep of some kind, we are meant to follow each other. That's designed in us. That's our genetic pattern. But the caveat is be careful who you follow. Because you might think, I'll follow this because that sounds smart, and then you're hooked. And before you know it, it's part of your pattern that's undermining you.
Okay.
So just to give you an example of that, when I started collaborating, I thought I had to be respectful of everyone. And if people didn't do what I asked of them because they were busy, I thought that was okay. But that's not okay. That meant that projects I were involved in went wrong. I lost money. I have to get people to honour their commitment to me, but do it in a way that's actually, well, they didn't necessarily mean to be distracted, although that in itself is a habit, to be distracted, to overcommit yourself. I pull them to account, and it's what I come to call tough love, and I've made that one of my core values, that I will call people to account in a gentle way, and if they can't do it, I say, well, okay, I release you from that commitment. This won't work in this way. Do we need to park it and wait a month before we start again, or is it not going to work? And that open discussion is very liberating, because that person knows they're not honouring their commitment, and it's damaging their health because they know that. We know these things. They sit in our mind and worry away. So just go, no, fine. And the key thing is, there's another opportunity around the road.
Yes. So I hear in that the mindset of abundance.
Yeah.
Like if this isn't working right now, we can let go of it. Something new will come along.
Yeah.
You know.
And that comes in terms of ideas. You get people, this is my idea, meaning this is the only idea I'll ever have in my life, so I want the kudos, I'm having it. And don't think of another better idea, because then people will forget that I had a good idea.
Yeah.
When you get the idea, if you ignore that negative thinking, someone else will think of another idea based on your idea. Let them go, and as you reflect, you go, oh, how about this as well? And then another idea will come to you.
Yeah.
But someone has to tell you that emotions destroy creativity, and when you get that, like any emotions destroy creativity, like negative emotions, then people will say, well, I'm never creative. Well, I was saying, well, were you thinking negatively? You know, there's a discipline, but once you get in that discipline of learning a new skill, and everything's a skill.
Okay, because we've got very little time, and there was another bit that came up that stuck to mind, was this idea about exponential thinking. And you said, think of a number that you want to earn a month. And then you said, right, add another zero. That's exponential thinking. I thought, I love that. I thought, yeah, you want to earn 10 grand a month, put another zero, give yourself the challenge of earning 100 grand a month. It just elasticates your brain, doesn't it? It kind of allows it to have that expansive way of looking at, well, how do you produce 100 grand a month instead of 10 grand a month? Or even if a grand a month would be a break, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, it's your next step.
You challenge yourself by doing something that you can't do now. And I was lucky enough to have be around Peter Thompson, who's been a huge mentor, and I just passing on the exercise. And when I came across that, I thought, oh, how do I do that? And as he said, everything that you try and do for the when you've added more will get you what you've had originally. But the chances are you might not add up with the 10 times, but your downside is going to be 3 or 4 times. So you've increased your performance by 400% by setting a target of 1,000%. And for some people say that's failure, but that's crazy.
But what I love about it is it's like the result is kind of whatever it is, but it's the expanding the thinking that's really, because you said exponential thinking. You didn't say exponential results, because results is a different dynamic. And I would say that within the context of being, that expands who you're being in the moment, which creates different action.
And that's a really good observation, I think, because one of the things I found that when you're doing really big stuff, you don't know where the outcome is. It's like you're going through a maze. So the only thing you can hang on to is actually I'm following the process, which you'll understand. It may sound a bit weird, but I'm following the formula, which is I've done this exponential thinking, nothing untoward has happened, so round the corner, either something will happen or suddenly we'll take off, but I will keep going because the signs are encouraging.
But what I've found inside that space is if you're thinking that way, do you know when you hear these stories about whether it was how Apple came about or how they did it, whatever. Yeah. I used Apple, but I really don't want to be using Apple. But anyway, the point I'm making is at some point they say, and then the breakthrough happened, then the tipping point happened, then something came together, the stars aligned, or we met this person, or this dynamic that created something. And we're citing collaboration now as an endeavour, a creative endeavour that produces something of value that requires 3 people minimum, and it creates something that would not have otherwise existed. So once those things come together, you end up with a catalytic kind of outcome that was unpredictable. It'll go breakthrough. You know, and so that's great. The other thing I was going to say is, you cited being a collaborator as key to fulfilling on vision or mission or your big life dreams. How's that experience evolved for you in the last? Is it about a year, 18 months you've been?
Yeah, so it's almost like I needed help of other people, but I didn't actually say. I think I said it accidentally at a meeting that you can only achieve big dreams through collaboration, through other. What I mean by that is other people's different thinking.
Yes.
You know, and to allow you to express your different thinking to me, I need to be. Hang on a minute. And I use this expression. Erkan's going to say a riddle to me, but I'm not going to say that's rubbish. I'm going to explore with him what he is, because he has something to say. I haven't quite tuned in. The radio frequency isn't on there. It's a bit of crackle. He's using words I haven't used before. But I need to stay with it, and then I'll go, now, and then your whole body is buzzing because you've tuned into.
Yeah, what you said is if it's a riddle, then it's something you can. If it doesn't immediately make sense, that's why it's a riddle. Yeah. So immediately, rather than dismiss it or check out, you're saying that actually inside of this, there's something's going to pop out that right now isn't readily obvious to me. Yeah. My current thinking. And the other way we've kind of talked about collaborations is imagine this 3D object, right? So if you look at it from this angle, and you can see you can see the handle. I can't see the handle. I'm going to say that what opportunities are available right now are limited because I can't see the handle. You'll go, but there's a handle. Now over here, someone will go, I can see he can't see the handle. So the 3D would give it this three-dimensional view. But the lenses, i.e. the thinking, if we amalgamate those thinkings, you end up with something that you'd never have done. Because if all you ever see is the handle, or maybe you don't even notice a handle, because you know, can you imagine looking at it from that angle, you might not even see it as a handle. But that 3D view will release opportunities within the project that would not readily be available.
No, absolutely, and it's almost as within that experience, it's careful. You treat it carefully, so you admire the other person, you acknowledge the fact,
and I think
you never, like I just said, I acknowledge Peter Thompson. You never steal other people's ideas of yours. You just freely acknowledge, and people will allow you to freely use their ideas. In fact, there's a whole community in terms of that do that sort of thing.
I'll see you next time. Yeah.
Lovely. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
So, I better sum up though. But essentially, I don't know if you caught all that. We're all mates in. Hi, Glenn. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Essentially, we're saying that actually the dynamic of collaboration is something. It takes effort, takes work. One of the things you cited also, anything big takes time.
Absolutely.
Because anything.
So, and I think people are so used to having a quick result. They're also, if we go back to our schooling, we're a lot of habits. If we can't do something, the teacher chops it up for us, and then we go, oh, now we do it. So we then that teaches us that the only way to do a big job is someone else to come and chop it up in pieces. What we need to be able to do, and I think I've got a method which I showed everyone. How can you chop it up yourself when you don't really know, to smaller pieces, which someone else would probably solve? That one piece.
So we're not just talking about bite-sized how do you eat an elephant stuff. We're actually saying the expertise, the understanding, the nuance is what do I have to give away to people that can solve those things, that I don't have to be trying to solve something that readily not my thing.
Yeah, and the thing that I found for me, that the one thing that will block people down is, goes back to, again, a few things learned at school, is you actually fundamentally have to ask help with something that you have no idea of. So some of these impossible things, that barriers, we don't even know how to articulate the name. So it could be like you're a petrol head, I don't know cars. Walking into a garage and saying, mate, I've got a problem, you might say, what is it? And I go, I've no idea. There could be all sorts of internal anxieties which stop me that. Whereas because I jetted that, I go, I've no idea, mate.
Over to you.
Over to you. Because if I was, I'd be a mechanic. So that ability to just say, I don't know that, and it doesn't bother me.
So on that note, notice what you've got in your projects that are really getting in the way, that you're trying to maybe solve, that you really shouldn't be trying to solve, maybe handing over or getting other input. Take on the notion of collaboration. Come visit us at a meeting and find out more. Any last words?
No, see you soon, and we'll post a little diagram, a little sketch on how you achieve big dreams, just as a little teaser, and if you come along, all will be revealed.
All will be revealed.
See you soon.
And on that note, all will be revealed. Take care, bye.
Bye.